Hello everybody. Today's video is going to be about your upcoming project that we are going to start called the 20 line project. Now what you are seeing is an example of somebody's pictured their project that they did last year. This is going to be a fun project that's going to test what you know over linear equations. So we've been working on 3 types of linear equations in slope-intercept form, point-slope form, and standard form. And we're going to draw our own picture, and we're going to be finding the equations of 20 of the lines in our picture. Continue watching this, and I'm going to explain the details of the project. So the 20 line project, here's a rubric. This will be posted on Edmodo later. You are going to create a drawing or trace a drawing onto graph paper that includes a minimum of 20 horizontal, vertical, and slanted lines. Your picture needs to take up a majority of the page. Your drawing is going to have 2 sets of parallel lines. So that would be 4 total lines there. 2 lines that are parallel to each other and then another pair parallel to each other. So you need, when you're drawing your picture, to make sure that you include some sort of parallel lines. You're going to also need to have 2 sets of perpendicular lines. We learned how parallel and perpendicular slopes compare to one another. That's what we're going to be looking for there. You're going to need 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines, and then 8 slanted lines of any variety that will make up your 20 lines. Now your picture is going to have way more than 20 lines most likely, but you're going to pick 20 of the lines on your picture that you want to use. You are going to, on your graph paper, draw and label an X and Y axis. You're going to label each of your axes. You're going to label the little marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3. That makes grading easier. That makes locating the ordered pairs easier if you will have all of the little lines labeled. Do it small and light so that it doesn't distract from your picture. You are going to then, once that is done, draw or trace your picture. Some of you that are really neat, love to draw, little artists in the group, then you can freehand your picture. Others of you may want to find a picture online, enlarge it, copy and paste it to a Microsoft Word document, enlarge it so that it takes up most of the entire page, and then print it and you'll be able to trace it. In class, we can stick it up next to the window and have the light shine through, and that will help you be able to trace it better. That's what I would do because I cannot draw worth anything. You're then going to choose the 20 lines you want to use, and you're going to number them based on the numbering assignments that was on the previous slide. Here, your parallel lines need to be labeled 1 and 2. Okay, you can't label your parallel lines 13 and 14, or you're going to miss points for that. Then you're going to, using your drawing, you're going to find the equations of each of your 20 lines. They're going to be in different forms. Some equations we're going to ask for in point slope. Some we may ask for in slope intercept, and others we may ask for standard. So you're going to have to pay attention to which particular form we're wanting for each of your 20 lines. You are going to have to show all of your work. Those of you that like to do this kind of stuff in your head, this project, you cannot do that because it's very important that we see your thinking. This is a level 2 grade. If you're going to get level 2 credit, I have to be able to see your thinking and see whether or not you know how to do this. Your work must be very neat and easy to follow. This is not a little homework assignment or something you're doing for your own self that you can write however you want. This is going to be very neat, neater than you normally write, and it's going to be very easy to follow. You're then going to find the domain and the range of each line. That's something we worked on earlier in the school year. We've been reviewing it ever since, and you're going to be tested on it here. Can you find the domain and the range and write those as inequalities for each of your line segments? Finally, you will color your picture neatly. We will be hanging these up. Here are some more examples of projects that the kids have done in the past. We always do this around Christmas, so we have some Christmas themed pictures here. Here somebody chose to use the design on, I believe, the cross-country t-shirt last year. As you can see, this is a little more complicated. Here we have a cute little dog. This one's very neat. Notice how all the lines are drawn with rulers. We will not be freehanding this. Everything will be done with a ruler. Notice how all of their lines that they chose to use are numbered. Notice how their axes are numbered. Their X and Y axis was labeled. This is very neat, very good. It takes up a majority of the page. She has her vertical lines, her horizontal lines, slanted lines, all of the things that were necessary. Here's an example of someone who is a big LSU fan. They did the LSU Tiger. Again, all of their 20 lines are down here in this lower portion of the picture, which is just fine. But again, it takes up a majority of the page. It's neat. All of her equations were numbered here, so when I graded this, I could see exactly which line she was talking about. This project is a level 2 grade, as I stated. It's worth 100 points. This is where your points are going to come from. You're going to get 50 points for writing the equations in the correct and stated form. If I ask for slope-intercept and you write it in point-slope, you're going to lose points. If you do all your domains and ranges correctly, that's worth 40 points. Your graph will need to be neat and colored for 5 points. All your points are labeled. Your axes are there and labeled, and then worth 7 points. Your project is very clear and legible, neat. Notice here, let me find, well, let's see, I'm trying to find something here. Okay, never mind. Now, here's an example of what your work should not look like. Here's a picture. Okay, this is the picture I chose to use here. And this is a little snippet of my paper that I'm going to be given where you're going to put all your work. Notice how I can see what the slope of her different lines are, but look at how messy it is. What a mess to follow. I mean, we've got stuff written in all directions. We've got things circled. We've got arrows pointing to things. I mean, this is a mess. If this is what yours looks like or anything similar to this, you will lose major points for work not being neat and clear. What you turn in to me is a final copy, which means you can have a rough draft. You're going to do your work on a separate sheet of paper. Once it's right, and you're happy with your answers, then you can transfer it onto your final copy sheet so that it's neat and easy to read. This is an example of what your final copy should look like. Okay, notice how neat everything is. It's labeled. Very easy for me to follow. Slope-intercept form, she got it in point-slope form and then showed me how she got it into slope-intercept form. Standard form, she went through point-slope to slope-intercept and then standard, getting rid of her fractions. All the things we've been working on the last couple of weeks. Very neat. I can clearly see whether she understands this or not, and that's what I am looking for. So what you need to do tonight is you need to think of, what do you want your picture to be? Are you going to freehand it? Are you going to trace it? You're going to bring in a picture. Maybe you print a couple pictures, bring them in, talk to me, see which one I think might work out better, and then you can trace it. You do not need to draw it this weekend. We're going to do that in class tomorrow. Just have your idea ready, and we're going to have some fun with this. So bring in any questions that you have, and we will talk about it tomorrow. See you later.